Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and as you guys can tell, I am sick. I've been sick since like Thursday night, and So I decided to watch the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid Christmas movie that they put out on Disney. And I just gotta say, like, in October, I actually rewatched the whole trilogy of the live action ones. And God, those movies are so good. Like, I could watch those pretty much all the time and just be happy with watching those. Like, let's say I'm going to a desert island. Can only take 3 movies. Or how about 5 movies, just to be fair. I'm taking Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. I'm taking Heathers, because it has Winona Ryder. I'm taking Bully, and I'm taking Fright Night. And I'd be set for life. But these animated movies, not so much. I was actually going to watch and review the other 2. But I started watching the first one, and it was so bad that I turned it off after 5 minutes. It was that bad. The animation looks like they want to make it like Play-Doh or something. And then the voice acting is pretty bad, and it just feels like a product rather than a movie. You know, like, remember, like, with Wonka? Oh, wait, that review comes out in 2 days. Well, just to spoil it for that, you know, that movie was like a product rather than a movie and a piece of art. This is the same thing. You know, this feels like a product. And it feels like something where, like, oh, let's just throw this movie together, make some extra content for Disney Plus, so that kids can have something more to watch than they already have. Let's not put any effort into, like, making a live action one or something again, because that other one went so terribly. And that's another one. I was going to watch the other live action movie where they did the terrible recasting. And, that might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I couldn't get through it. You had Alicia Silverstone, which you guys want to know something weird about her that made that casting even weirder? In real life, she bird feeds her children, or she did when they were young, which means that she would chew up their food and she would spit it in their mouths to feed them. And like, I'm sorry, but, like, who the fuck does that? Like, seriously, like, even if it was Winona Ryder, even if she was chewing up all my food and spitting it in my mouth, I would not want that at all. Like, that is not, ooh. Like, isn't that gross, guys? Like, ooh. Ooh. Those kids are going to need therapy when they're adults. Like, seriously. When they're adults, they're going to be like, yeah, I remember that period of my life where my mom would spit all my food in my mouth and it's all chewed up and shit, and she would chew it for me. And, like, wow. Ugh. Ugh. You know what, actually? It could actually be like a really... Now I'm starting to get sick. It could be like a really nice commentary idea for, like, a couple who's willing. This is what I would do, too, if I had someone to do it with. Every time you don't like something, the other person has to chew up some food and spit it in your mouth. And just go back and forth with that. God, that would be like a nightmare experience. It would be worse than yesterday when I had that panic attack while I was talking about Alana Bloom from Hannibal, which that literally did happen. It was so bad. But anyways, this movie, it was kind of dumb. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, I was able to get through it. Because I was in the mood to watch something Christmassy. But it had so many questionable things. So, like, first off, Rally and Greg, they were building a snowman. And the snow, they accidentally rip off grass from the lawn. And Greg is worried about this because he wants to be good for Christmas so that he'll get his game system that he wants. But it's so queer because it's like, so what if you rip some grass off the lawn? That doesn't ruin the lawn. Like, they don't have fake grass. It's real grass. It's going to grow back, you Nimrod. It's going to grow back in the spring. Like, seriously? Like, that's the level of stupidity here? Like, oh no, we ruined the lawn. Oh! Like, yes, it would be bad if you tore down a tree. Like those domestic terrorists did at our house, where they tore down all the trees. You know, that takes a long time to grow back. And, you know, that's a different situation. We're not going to talk about that right now. But to just rip some grass off the fucking lawn, and it's all covered in snow, by the way. I mean, you can't see it at all. So it's like, what's up with that? Like, seriously? That's a big deal now? I'll go do that right now, and I guarantee nobody's going to yell at me. It's going to grow back. Like, oh no, I shaved off all my hair. Ooh, it's going to grow back, dipshit. And then they make it roll down the hill accidentally, and it crashes into the snowplow. And then the snowplow driver is so stupid that instead of, like, backing away from this giant mountain of snow that's been amassed from all the snow going down the hill, she continues to try to push through the snow until the snowplow breaks. I mean, number one, this whole thing was an accident. It was an accident. Like, it wasn't even their fault. Like, usually in these Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, it is their fault. Like that fucking thing where Greg, in the first movie, where he pushes all the kids down in that hole, and then he just leaves them and abandons them because those bullies are riding around looking for them. Like, yes, that was kind of Greg's fault. And then where he was trying to frame Rowley, too. But this was not. And then the snowplow driver, she could have gotten the snow down in, like, a smart way. And instead of even, like, sitting there at the scene and trying to, you know, fix the mistake, she chases them like a serial killer. To the point of where, at the end of the chase, they fall down a big hill. They could have died. And so, like, it's just really, really weird and just so contrived. You know, you can just tell everything that's going to happen. These kids are going to cover this up. Eventually, the truth will get out. And then they'll feel bad about it. And then the snowplow driver will have her little sob story. And then Greg will probably do something really nice for her, and that's exactly what happens. Very, very paint-by-numbers story here. And the movie thinks that you're so stupid, by the way. They show you a flashback from 5 minutes ago. So, like, the kids put their winter garments in the toy collection box because they think it's a dumpster, because they're too lazy to, like, go over and wipe off the other side so that they can see it's a dumpster. Or maybe it was already wiped off and they're just too lazy to look at the other side of the dumpster. Like, that's how lazy they are, and that's how lazy the movie is. And then 5 minutes later, they show you a flashback of them putting it in the dumpster. Like, you're so stupid you couldn't remember them just doing that. And I realized that kids, they need a little bit more help maybe with movies, but not really. Like, kids aren't that stupid to where you have to remind them something from 5 minutes ago. If I was a kid, I would be just as insulted with this trash. And then they have this plot line. It's kind of like a little side plot, but, or I guess just a little mention of something. But Greg got banned from sleeping over at rallies because he messed up making chocolate pudding. So apparently they had an incident where, like, Greg made the pudding fly all over the place. I just thought, like, how is that Greg's fault? Like, you remember in that other Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, the Dog Days, the bad one, he sends the email tries to send an email to his parents on Rowley's dad's computer, and then it ended up emailing to all of Rowley's dad's friends and work colleagues, and, that was a big fuck up, and that was Greg's fault. It was an accident still, but it was still his fault. It was definitely like, God, what a little piece of shit. What a little turd burglar that Greg Heffley is. Like, what a little dumpster diving fucknut that little Greg Heffley is. And it's like, this thing here where he just makes pudding go everywhere, like, how is that his fault? Like, how is that something to where you would ban him from sleeping over? That's terrible. That's terrible. So Rowley can't ever have his best friend sleep over? Like, even if it was, like, for his birthday or something special like that? Like, that's terrible. That was stupid. And then they have this gag where somehow... There's a lot of somehows in this movie, by the way. I noticed that every time I wrote somehow, I felt like someone could take a shot. Which I probably won't even be able to do this year because of being sick the whole year over and over again. Like, it's 2023 has just been the sick year. Like, every single month there's been, like, a new sickness that's come up. And it's like, it's really, like, it's really funny. So anyway, somehow Manny... Manny, they're treating this series now like The Simpsons, where they never age and they never mature and they never get progressed as a character because they don't want to, I don't know, like they just want the brand to go on forever. So, let's just make all these lazy animated movies and not have the characters progress and not have anything interesting happen. Let's just make these lazy cash-ins for Disney Plus. Let's make some content. And Manny is like a 3 or 4-year-old or something. I don't know, but he's like tiny. And somehow, this blows my mind. Somehow Manny gets inside of the gingerbread house they're making, and he breaks it into pieces. Like, are you serious? Are you serious with that shit? They couldn't even do that in a live-action movie. Because the people who made the live-action movies, they'd say, like, does this really make sense? That was stupid. And the whole thing is like a Leave It to Beaver episode. I mean, let's go through a Leave It to Beaver episode. The kids do something bad. The kids cover it up. The kids don't want anyone to find out. And then at the end... they admit what they did, the bad thing that they did, and they get in trouble for it, and they learn a lesson. That's this movie. It is a Leave It to Beaver episode, but trash. Cartoon Leave It to Beaver. Nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for this. This should be in Santa's shit bucket. What the hell is a Santa's shit bucket? I guess that's... I don't even know. Where the fuck do I come up with this stuff? And by the way, what the fuck is up with El Friendo? There's this whole stupid storyline introduced in this movie where the mom, Holly, she has this toy named El Friendo. And it's like a little green goblin person toy. And this is some weird stuff. It's like some... It's really weird, this toy. the kids are supposed to carry it around and put it everywhere where they are so that the toy can watch them to make sure they're being good until Christmas. And Greg implies that he has to take this toy to the bathroom so that the toy can watch him go to the bathroom to make sure that he's not making a bad doo-doo. I'm not kidding you guys. This is real stuff. This is where Diary of a Wimpy Kid has gotten to. El Friendo. It's got to see you take a wee-wee to make sure that you're wee-weeing okay. That is an actual plot line in a Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. Roderick has got to take El Friendo to his bedroom. And El Friendo be watching him whacking off to, I don't know what he would whack off to. What do you think Roderick would whack off to? Because I feel like I was like a normal boy. And I know, like, my preferences, but what would be Roderick's preference? Like, he would probably, I don't know. I shouldn't even be asking that. That's inappropriate. But it's pretty hilarious, though, because I just think, like, is this really, like, a thing where, like, El Friendo, because I thought that the plot line was going to be that El Friendo had a camera inside of him so that then the kids would do something and get in trouble, and they would cover it up, and then El Friendo, the parents would take the camera out and reveal that they knew what happened because they looked inside the camera footage because that was inside El Friendo. But I'm not kidding you guys when I say that El Friendo doesn't do jack shit the entire movie. He never catches Roderick whacking off. He never catches Greg in the shower doing something bad or something. I don't know. I don't even know what you could do in the bathroom that would be bad. Or I guess I know. You know, but it really, I mean, that's like usually like old men that do that. Like, you know, older men past age like 40, they all like go to the bathroom and then don't wash their hands. You know, I saw that all the time at the gym. You know, you had these gross men and they go to the gym bathroom and they wouldn't wash their hands. And then they go around shaking people's hands at the gym, putting their hands on the equipment and stuff. But somehow I never got sick like this from going to the actual gym. That's what's funny is like, because I always washed my hands and I always cleaned off the equipment. But still, El Friendo doesn't ever contribute anything to the movie. And then at the end of the movie, Greg puts El Friendo in the toy collection drive. So he gives away this like special family toy that his mom had for when she was a little girl. And like, just what was up with El Friendo? Like, what is that? What is an El Friendo? Like, that could have been a good story too. Like, just imagine El Friendo sees them do something bad and it's got a camera inside it. Like, that was like such an easy home run. I was like, how are they not doing that? How are they not discovering something inside El Friendo? Oh, that sounds bad too. That sounds wrong. So basically, the family gets snowed in. And they have to ration out supplies and food. And the dad is rationing out the toilet paper. He's got a full pack of toilet paper, and he is only allowing each family member to use one square of toilet paper when they go to the bathroom. Like, what the hell? What the hell? This is like a horror episode. This isn't a comedic Christmas episode. This is horror. That is horrifying. Just a square? Ew. Ew. Might as well not be called the Heffleys. Might as well be called the Dirty Butts. I mean, seriously, what is up with that? One square? And then they have this part where Manny... I better not have a panic attack doing this video, too. Manny is somehow able to speak a full sentence. He mutters to himself, "I'm sick of these guys," or something like that. And I was like, how in the hell was that possible, too? Like, was that really, like, a sensical joke to make? Like, you can write good jokes in a cartoon, but they have to make sense. Just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean you get to take all of the logic and reasoning out of what you're writing. Seriously. And then somehow the family runs out of 2 weeks worth of food, and then we find out that Manny, the 4-year-old kid or 3-year-old kid, he is somehow stealing the rations and supplies to hoard to himself in the closet. That was really retarded. Apparently, all that the Heffleys have to eat, too, is yams and potatoes. Yams and potatoes. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. So, you know what I thought? I thought these fucking animators, they're so fucking lazy over at Disney Plus, or they're overworked. If they're overworked, then I apologize for being mean. Because, you know, animators are very... they're being abused nowadays because these studios realize that they can just, you know, animate everything and, you know, do everything on the computer, and it's really sickening and lazy and stupid. But let's just say this. I just thought these animators are so lazy. They just want to animate one water bottle and one yam and one potato, and then they want to clone those over and over again so that they don't have to animate other types of food items. You know what I mean? Like, instead of animating, like, popcorn, beans, soda, hot dogs, Vienna sausages, beefaroni, Twinkies, instead of animating all these food items, let's just animate these 3 food items and then make like a bunch of clones of that same item. So like apparently all this family is eating is yams and potatoes. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's heavily retarded, as expected. And then another plot too is that Greg wants to go out to get his cap and whatever back because he threw those out, and he wants to get them so he can destroy them because they're evidence. Because they are looking for these kids, the quote-unquote vandals, the criminals. They should just be replacing the snowplow equipment so that they can fix the roads. But that's never brought up at all. Well, it kind of it's really weird. This story is so contrived to just whatever they want to happen happens. It doesn't make any sense like the books. And if this was a book, I really hope it wasn't because it's trash. Like, and it might be the worst book out of the series. And I haven't read anywhere near all the books. I have pretty much only read the original ones, plus The Ugly Truth. Or wait, what was the one where he wasn't allowed to use the electronics? I read that one. My favorite book was actually Dog Days. So that's why I was really upset that they kind of ruined that book with the Dog Days movie, because I really loved that book. You know, that was my favorite book of the series for sure. Like, I thought that book was, like, perfect, and they totally ruined it, by the way. Like, they totally ruined that book. That fucking Justin Bieber thing at the end. But they're all snowed in, as I said before, but somehow the police are able to drive through town even though there's a blizzard going on. I don't understand this. And then too, all the fantasy sequences are in black and white. And it's like, remember the live action movies where they didn't think the audience was stupid, so the fantasy sequences were in color? Like, remember that? Remember those days? I remember. And then suddenly Greg and Rowley are all of a sudden able to go out during the blizzard and search for their stuff. And then Greg actually does something good. And he clears up the entire parking lot around the toy collection bin so that the police can get the toys for the toy drive. And I thought, that was actually a nice little thing in this crappy movie. That was a nice little thing he did there. Wow. And then the snowplow woman arrives, and she makes Greg feel bad, as I predicted, because she was saying she was going to clear that up, but she couldn't because her equipment got destroyed. Which, that wasn't really Greg's fault in the first place, even though that whole thing was an accident, but she didn't have to keep pushing through that snow. She could have cleared up that snow in a different way, in a strategic way. She didn't have to just push forward through the snow hill right there. Like that whole thing. And then she makes him feel bad also because she can't afford a game system for her son, conveniently. And then when the snowplow woman drops Greg off home, because she drops him off back at home. I can't remember why she was out in the first place either. I don't know. This movie doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. But she discovers that Greg is the bad guy. And she says, you! Whatever. You look like a good kid. What the fuck? Like, right then and there, I was like, that was so anticlimactic. Like, oh. And just thinking to myself, I am so glad that those live action actors aren't doing this movie. Because this would have been a stain on the brand. This story here. This story's stupid. And then the police actually come to their house, the Heffley house. In which I was thinking, if the police can get there, then why can't the family go to the store and get some food? Or anything. But the police come, and the parents actually do something good, and they help Greg cover up his accident. So they start covering everything. I thought, that was actually pretty cool. They would have never have done that in any of the movies, so I thought that was pretty cool. But then Greg is like, oh no, I'm just going to get myself in because it's the right thing to do, even though it's really not, and this isn't really realistic for a 12-year-old. Yeah. I'm gonna be like a Boy Scout, and I'm gonna do what's right because I'm trying to teach kids a lesson, even though this is a fucking movie and it's supposed to be entertaining and not a piece of trash. But then it turns out the police are there to pick up toys for the toy drive, since people couldn't get to the toy drive because they're snowed in. But then again, I don't know how the police could get there to, get the toys either. But that's not really discussed or mentioned. Whatever. Let's just forget about logic and forget about what makes sense because we gotta make this cute little Christmas movie. And so then Greg gives away his game system so that the snowplow woman can give it to her son. And what's so stupid is that the whole message is that, new game systems come out every year, so I can get a new game system next year. But it's like, wait a second. If a new game system comes out every year, then why is it so important for the snowplow woman's son to get the game system either? You know what I mean? How does that make sense? And also, they neglect to mention the fact that the video game systems eventually, what do, guys? 3 words. Let's go. Like you're in kindergarten. They go on... Did you guys get it? They go on sale. Sale? after a while where something is on full price, then it goes down to a different price. That's what you call going on sale. So it really doesn't have to be when the game system is brand new. You can wait for the game system to go on sale. But I guess the snowplow woman can't handle that because she's too busy buying herself Twinkies and who knows what. She was like a stereotype. You know that like stereotype in kids' movies where you have the adult who seems like they're mean and nasty, and then it turns out, oh, they're just a normal, nice person with a heart of gold. And these writers are crappy writers with hearts of crap. And I will say, though, one good thing about the movie. You ready for it? You ready? The mom's voice actress was pretty good. I would say out of all the actors in this movie, I felt like Greg's mom was a good actress. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's the same one from the movies. I will check it right now. Get ready for the wimpiest Christmas ever, more like the shittiest Christmas ever. Susan. Erica Sarah. Ooh, she's Latina. Ooh. Ooh. Really? Ooh. Oh, no, she's Italian. Oh. She doesn't look Italian. She looks Latina. Ooh. Her birthday's on Halloween. Ooh. Well, let's see what she's done. Have I seen anything else of hers that she's done? No. Wait, I saw Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, that original movie. I was forced to watch that abomination multiple times as a kid. I hated it so much that when I finally read the book, I didn't like the book either. Like, even though the book was really good and the book was so much better than the movie, I saw that bad movie so many times that it ruined the book for me too. And it also kind of almost ruined that actor's career, that Logan Lerman guy who's like a pretty good actor. Like, that movie almost ruined his career. And then he did that Fury movie and everyone was like, fuck yeah, that guy rocks. But yeah, this Erica woman, she did a good job voicing the mom. I felt like she was the only good voice actor. Everyone else was pretty terrible, especially Greg and Frank and Rowley. This movie was bad. So anyways, I have to rate this movie in terms of food now. I just remember that. That's something that I do on this channel, even though this movie was only an hour long. I would rate this movie a bowl of Chips Ahoy. Wait a second, did I just say Chips Ahoy? I'm just so messed up today. I would rate this movie a bowl of Cap'n Crunch. Because I used to really love Cap'n Crunch as a kid, but I feel like as I got older, I didn't like it as much because it's too sugary and the cereal is so hard that it like cuts your mouth. And I know people have talked about that before. It's really bad. And it's really bad when it's soggy too, so it's not that good to me. But I felt like too, they changed the recipe somehow and they ruined the flavor of Cap'n Crunch. And I feel like these movies, these new Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, they suck. And it's like they took what made those original movies great. It wasn't just that it was live action. It was the fact that they felt like real movies because they were over an hour long. They had actors who fit the roles. They had good writing. This movie didn't have any good writing. So, they took everything that made those movies good and they took it away. And they replaced it with trash. And they put it on Disney Plus. And, of course, everything on Disney Plus is for the for the turds. It's not for the birds, it's for the turds. So anyways, please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought of this crap cluster Christmas fuck movie. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews like this. I hope that the animators are doing okay. Because if they are doing okay and they're lazy, then fuck them. But if they're being overworked, then I'm sorry for that. I did not mean to be mean to animators who are just being overworked so that Disney can make another terrible product out of all the other terrible products that they released in this terrible year for movies. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.